Yo, what up? It's Teddy. Caravan Crypto, and today we got a lot of good news. All right. First, let's look at the price. Bitcoin's at $9,678, up and up and up and up. For some reason, even though the economy is in shambles, and the stock market is up, the housing market is up. I mean, it's wild times, folks. But at the very least, Bitcoin does have some reason for people to effectively exit the current financial system and enter into a new one. And we're going to get into a little bit of some of the players that are facilitating that on ramp. But yeah, everything is kind of following Bitcoin's trend pretty much. Some are doing a little bit better than others. Shout out to Chainlink doing 10% in the last 24 hours. One thing I'd also like to mention is that if you go to the view all, and do not get caught up in these numbers, okay? Because these numbers I'm going to show you are like ridiculous, and you probably shouldn't buy some of these coins we're going to look at. But fun tip, you go to the 24 hour percent change after you hit that view all, and this is going to give you all 5,609 cryptocurrencies in 22,000 markets, and you're going to hit this percent change bar right there, and now you're looking at, in the last 24 hours, Edu did 40%, Nimic did 31, GoChain 26, Knowles 20%. Actually, you know what? Knowles, Nimic, Edu, these are actually not obscure coins. Like, people really talk about these. Bancor, another not obscure coin. Lots of people talking about Bancor. It's an 82 rank coin out of 5,200 or 5,600 coins. It's pretty good, man. 16% on Anchor. I mean, these are just in the last 24 hours, dude. This is really good. In any other market, forex, commodities, stocks, you do 20%, 10, 15%, let alone 40 in 24 hours. You're doing hella good. All right. So anyway, let's get on to the real news. Look, I want to tell you about something you probably already know. Cash App. Okay. Bitcoin sales on Cash App double in a year. For the last 3 years, Cash App has been allowing people to buy crypto, or Bitcoin specifically, on their platform. The same way you would send money, you just buy Bitcoin on their app. And I want to show you something. All right, the first quarter that they opened it, actually, I think they opened it in late 2017, but this is showing Q1 2018. And here, let me try to make this a little bigger so you can see it. Okay, look, $34.1 million in sales for Bitcoin Q1. So this is just January to March, all right? April to June, they did 37 mil. July to September, they did 43 mil. October to December, they did 52, right? And then beginning of Q1, January to March, in 2019, they did 65 mil, and then boom, this thing doubles in a quarter to from April to June. They do 125 mil, and compared to the first quarter, in the fourth quarter, it almost triples to 177 mil. And I want to kind of break that down. So they sold 177 million in 3 months in the last quarter of 2019 in Bitcoin sales through the Cash App. Okay, it's pretty impressive. Now, if we look at this chart over here, this shows this blue line is subscriptions and service based, transactions based, blah blah blah. This is like other stuff other than Bitcoin, and this is Bitcoin sales. So 47%, okay, 47% of Cash App's sales right here, 46% of Cash App revenue, yet only 2% of Cash App gross profits, because it's hard to make a profit on Bitcoin buying and selling here, but of their gross revenue. So people who are sending money for paying, loaning money out, tripping in on dinner, blah 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 blah, paying for stuff. That was 53% of the revenue coming in. 47% of the revenue coming in from Cash App is Bitcoin sales. Very impressive. Okay, very impressive. And then to yesterday, well, first of all, I want to talk about the mass adoption. Right, there's this thing called the innovation adoption curve. And it basically measures how fast people flock to a particular thing, whether it's an industry, a fad, whatever, right? Uh, so the first are the innovators, brave people pulling the change. Innovators are very important communication, or communicators, I think it's supposed to say. But basically, these are the people like Satoshi Nakamoto, even Adam Beck, and some of these early guys, the Mount Gox guys, early adopters, respectable people, opinion leaders, try out new ideas, but in a careful way. This is definitely the Silk Road, Mount Gox guys, Bybit, all this stuff. And then the early majority, I think this is where we are at, okay? Early majority. Remember, Bitcoin is 11 years old now, all right? I think this is where we're at, the early majority. Maybe we're in this. If you got in the last 3 years, you're probably in this early half. If you're getting in now, you're probably in this later half of the early majority. But that's 34% of the adopters, which I really don't think we're at that percentage point. Maybe we're even in this part right here. Okay, it's possible. It's very possible because we're at less than 10%, dude, of people who would be using Bitcoin. I would estimate, according to the wallet numbers, we're at 50 million people around the world using Bitcoin. So that's still like really, really early, right? And then you get the late majority. Skeptic people will use new ideas or products only when the majority is using it. This is how we make our money, is these guys. Maybe some of these guys, and then these guys. You come in, you're late to the game, you buy it at prices higher than what we bought it in for. And this is what's, like, basically today, this is kind of where we're at. Or this is what's coming next, I mean. And then, the laggards are people who care for the old ways, critical towards new ideas, and will only accept it if the new idea has become mainstream or even tradition, which is where we're heading. Which brings us to our next piece of news. Our next piece of news is PayPal, Venmo to roll out crypto buying and selling. Okay, so fintech giant PayPal plans to roll out direct sales of cryptocurrency to its 325 million users, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. CoinDesk is something that I'm not, I wouldn't say that they're unreliable. They've been pretty on point. And this is the guy who wrote it, Ian Allison. And this is some of his Twitter stuff. You can get at him, email, whatever. And let's put this in perspective, right? If there's 325 million users, let's say 10% take an interest in Bitcoin, there's not enough. Even if all the Bitcoin supply was available, there's not enough for them all to buy one Bitcoin whole. And that's just PayPal users. This is 5% of the population. All right. Now, look, let's say, and if you watch my other video about, how much Bitcoin is left, the scarcity of Bitcoin, I forgot what the title is. Anyway, there's only 9 million Bitcoin that'll actually be available. Okay. So these guys, they can't purchase, one whole Bitcoin each. And let's increase this lopsided supply-demand ratio, and let's talk about how you can now buy Bitcoin at CVS, 7-Eleven, and Rite Aid. I don't think it's like right now because they still got to install these Bitcoin ATM machines, but per a PR Newswire release on June 22nd, the company has finished rolling out the buying options, which will be available in 20,000 retail locations around the U.S., including major convenience store and pharmacy chains such as 7-Eleven, CVS Pharmacy, and Rite Aid. This is incredible news, dude. This is incredible news. 20,000 stores, especially these ones, which, so many people frequent these stores every single day, okay? And they'll have a Bitcoin ATM there for people to be able to go and buy Bitcoin and use it as they see fit. This is incredible. And this is what mass adoption looks like when you have companies who are focused on incorporating Bitcoin into their already established and frequently used customer base. Okay, when they're incorporating Bitcoin like this, Dude, this is an app. This right here is, these are two apps that people use to pay money already. And they're going to start selling crypto. You saw what happened with Cash App just adding crypto. You know what I mean? They made up 46% of their revenue. Half their revenue came from Cash App sales of Bitcoin. You know, imagine what these guys are going to do. You imagine what PayPal and Venmo are going to bring to the table. Imagine what CVS, 7-Eleven, Rite Aid. You could skip the red tape around going to Coinbase and Gemini and Kraken and Binance, and you don't need an ID. You could just walk up to these stores and you can purchase a portion of Bitcoin. Now, if you want to, put in like 5, 6, 10,000, you want to buy a whole Bitcoin, you're not going to be able to do it without ID. You got to go through those other channels I mentioned before. But this is incredible. This is crazy news. All right, and this is from Forbes here. Forbes is putting this out. But yeah, so mass adoption. If you don't think that this is going to drive the price up, you just haven't been trading that long. This is going to go. I don't know when the price is going to reflect this news. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Keep an eye out. Be on the lookout. It's going to be dope. It's going to be real dope. If you're listening to this today, June 22nd, 2020, or 23rd, 2020, you are super fortunate that you're this early in the game. Do as much research as you can. Don't listen to me. I'm just a random guy on YouTube. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't listen to me, but go and search as much research as you can about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and the long-term plans or the long-term vision for this industry, for this innovation on the internet, this disruption of the banking system all over the planet, okay, the global banking system. Just research it, okay? I can't stress that enough. Take a look at it. But yeah, hope you had hope you got some value out of this. Hope you have a great day. I hope this video reached you in the best of health and spirits, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Peace.